Welcome to the Undisputed podcast. I'm your host, Jenny Taft. On today's show, is Kevin Durant really the most talented scorer of all time? Plus, DeAngelo Hall explains why he's not buying the hype surrounding Skip's Cowboys. And who is the NFL's best quarterback, Brady or Rodgers? Skip, Shannon, let's get to it.
Kevin Durant is already a regular season MVP, a two-time finals MVP, and a back-to-back champ. Now his teammate Andre Iguodala is heaping more praise on KD. Iguodala was asked about Durant, and he said people don't appreciate him enough. He's the most talented scorer of all time, hands down. He's a walking 30 points. He'll get 30 on 12 shots. That's very, very hard to do. Very efficient. Most guys need to feel the ball in their hands a lot to get the rhythm. He doesn't. Michael Jordan, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar were the two guys with unstoppable moves. MJ had the fadeaway, Kareem had the skyhook, but KD is a 7-footer who can hit a hesitation pull-up from 50 feet out. That's his unstoppable move. Skip, let's start with you on this.
Thank you. No, it's the first.
I just
what
figured
happened?
we'd mix it up.
She threw me a bone.
Yeah. Is Iggy right?
Thank you for the floor. I love Iggy. He's one of the few high IQ basketball players, or players in any sport, who can see it and also speak it, because some with high IQ can see it, but they can't put it into words. He put this beautifully into words that needed to be said, because Kevin Durant still doesn't get enough credit for what he is and what he is becoming. He's been the most talented scorer that I've ever seen since he was at the University of Texas. So I don't think that's overstated. He just said he's the most talented scorer. He didn't say he's the greatest scorer of all time, although I think he has a chance to prove ultimately that he is and was the greatest scorer of all time. But I started saying on national TV back in 2007, when Kevin was a freshman at the University of Texas, averaging 26 and 11, I've never seen anything like this before. I'm pretty sure he's 7 feet tall. I don't know why, but they list him at 6'9". I've stood next to him. He's 7 feet tall, and he has the length of an 8-footer because his arms are really, really long for his height.
You're not blocking that jump shot.
The apex of that shot, it is truly unblockable. So you take that kind of talent, and then you put it into a guy who actually has low ego. He's not a diva. He's not selfish. He can score efficiently. I've never seen anything like this before. So the only, like inch for inch, he's the most talented shooter I've ever seen as far as being 7 feet tall. And Dirk is in the conversation, but Dirk doesn't have the deep, effortless sort of stroke that Kevin does. He can pull up maybe not from 50 and shoot a jump shot, but from 35.
Yeah. But Dirk can't get to the rim like he could. Dirk doesn't have the handles that KD has. KD was going to put the ball on the floor. Dirk was going, step, pump, and then shoot that 1 foot step back, which KD has added to his game now.
Okay. So I've always said Michael Jeffrey Jordan was the greatest scorer ever because of his intangibles, the killer will, the assassin's mentality, where he's just saying, I'm going to score it on you. Whether you can cheap shot me, you can do whatever you want to. I'm going to get it on you whenever I need to. And the higher the stakes, the more I'm going to score on you. Well, Kevin has taken a beating on social media because he looks weak. He left Oklahoma City after Oklahoma City had a 3-1 lead over these same Golden State Warriors. So he's not getting credit because it looked like he gave up. He sort of quit on Oklahoma City and joined the super team.
Well, Skip, I don't think social media, they're not saying Kevin isn't a great player because he is. They look at him as being weak. In order for him to accomplish what he needed to accomplish, he had to go already join Skip, this is the first time we've seen something like this. This was a super team because they had already won one title. They won 73 games the year before he actually got there. So for him to go join a team that already had the reigning MVP, who was a top 5 player in the league currently. We don't normally see this. I mean, you can make a case in the early 80s that the Lakers had 3 of the top 10 players with Worthy, Kareem, and Magic. You can legitimately make that case. But it's hard to make that case in any other time in history that let's go since 80, that we've seen a team have 3, say, top 10, or, 3 top 10, 4 top 20 guys like they have with Clay, Draymond, Steph, and KD. That doesn't normally happen. So they're not disrespecting his game. They're like, bruh, all of a sudden you pounding your chest. You weren't pounding your chest when you was OKC. but you go link up with them. I think that's what kind of rubs people the wrong way. They know KD. If you know anything about basketball, you know KD is phenomenal. He's great. He's already a top. For me, it's going to be hard. It's hard to say he's not a top 15 player right now, given what he's accomplished, what he accomplished going into the last 2 seasons, considering what he's accomplished coming out of the last 2 seasons, and he's still in his prime. So it's hard to say he's not top 15. But
so when he walked in the door at Golden State, what did the 2-time MVP Steph Curry immediately do?
Yeah, you just got to go.
It's your team. I concede.
Yeah.
I defer. You take it. You make the big shots. You take the big shots.
I think the thing is what makes him good, makes KD, when and he can say his talent, is because he's 7 foot. Because we've seen guys score the basketball. Skip, Tracy McGrady was a walking bucket machine. Now, you talk about can score the ball, and I think
at about 6'8".
Yes.
Go ahead.
You know what I think it is, Skip? When we look at scores, most of them, we look at jump shooters. We look at guys that shoot the ball from. We don't look at big guys, shooting, being efficient because big guys they getting dunks and layups. So when they shoot 65% from the field or 70% from the field, they're not taking a shot outside 5 feet. Well, Kevin Durant is shooting 33-foot 3-point shots. He's trying to, shooting clocks at the end of the shot clock, end of the half, and he's still shooting 50% basically for his career. But it's just hard for me to put somebody as far as talent scoring the ball. Because I've been a Tar Heel fan since '81. I did not see Michael Jordan being this, Skip. I don't think nobody saw this. Nobody saw him to get buck. I mean,
well, what did they say?
It's like Poppy.
What did everybody say when he was at Carolina? The only man who can stop Michael Jordan is Dean Smith, the coach. He was stopping it.
Only man to hold him under 20 points.
Yeah.
Because, okay. But KD is phenomenal. But like I say, I don't want to talk about my guy because people say, Shannon, you talk about him too much. But
do they say that?
Yeah.
So you're a prisoner of Twitter.
They call it. No, you gave me the name. You should never have called me LeShannon. See, don't look at Jenny. Jenny didn't do it. You did it.
I didn't do it.
You did start calling me that.
It just came out of nowhere.
It came out of your head.
It's a gift from God.
It came out of your mouth. You started that foolishness, and people actually see me walking the street, and they call me,
LeShannon.
They call me Uncle LeShannon.
Yeah.
Thanks to you, I appreciate that.
Yeah, good.
But
you deserve it.
Skip. I mean, LeBron does have a high scoring average. Mm-hmm. He shoots high percentage from the field. Got more assists, more rebounds.
So, thank you for bringing that up because I asked you, what happened in the last 2 Game 3s of the NBA Finals? Both played in the King's house in Cleveland, Ohio. What happened in those 2 games? Turning point games. Make or break. It's going to go one way or the other in these games.
KD played unbelievable. But if you don't mind me asking, can you tell him what the record was before KD went and linked up with Steph, Clay, and Draymond?
What record
was? 18-5. LeBron was 18-5 against KD.
LeBron owned him for a long time.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, Kevin grew up, and he became big brother to little brother.
Well, if you go,
it started 2 years ago in that Game 3, in which Kevin scored 31 points, and Cleveland actually had a 2-point lead with 46 seconds left in that game. That's in the King's house. And here came Kevin dribbling the ball up court. Could we please see that shot? Because
we already saw the hezzy.
This is the hezzy pull-up that Iggy's talking about. Boom. That's deep, man. And it was right in LeBron's face.
LeBron said, this is what I done. I've been beating KD down, beating him down. Then he go get 3 of his homeboys, and he show back up. And the people wonder why I can't beat him.
Who was the MVP?
KD.
Kevin Durant. And then what happened this past finals? Again, you still got a chance. I know you're down 2-0. You should have been 1-1 if LeBron had melted down.
No, if JR hadn't melted down.
Okay, they all melted down. But the point is, Game 3 again, highest stakes. And Kevin Durant goes for 43. He hits 6 out of 9 threes.
What did LeBron do?
Whew. And by the way, the Cavs had a 1-point lead with 9:33 left in that game. That's the king in his house. You got to close the deal. Close the deal.
Hold on, a 1-point lead with 9 minutes.
Yeah, come on. If you're that guy, if you're the greatest player ever, if you're better than Michael Jordan, you just close the deal. And he didn't because Kevin closed another deal and won a 2nd straight Finals MVP. And I got to tell you, I'm the biggest Jordan fan you'll find, but Kevin has a chance to eclipse Michael Jordan.
As what?
He's the greatest scorer ever.
Well, the greatest scorer ever is actually Kareem. Now,
okay.
and eventually.
Flips all of them. I say it's Michael.
Whoa. It's Kareem.
I'm not doing statistics. I'm just doing in my mind's eye who's the greatest scorer ever.
Because you know.
Well, this guy's, man, those are two big moments where he just took games over.
Because you know,
Jordan
when it's all said and done, who will be the all-time leading scorer in NBA history, right?
Well, just because he played the most minutes.
Well, let's see, there you go, Skip. Oh, that's unnecessary.
Played the most games.
So let me get.
That just equates to you're the most durable superstar ever. I got to knock on wood for LeBron's sake, because he has been.
Yeah.
Durability is not what's putting the ball in the basket.
Yeah, it is.
No, it's not.
He's going to score. He's 6'9", 280.
You keep adding.
I do. He's 270, 280. He looks like he's.
No, you told me
right
thin. You told me thin.
He thinned out after the year because you wonder what happened.
What you
Well, he got off that vibranium. I don't know what happened.
Skip. See, I know what you tried.
He got off it.
You tried to imply.
I didn't imply. You told me he was on vibranium.
LeBron is just fine. Don't worry about him. We're in the lab as we speak.
He came right out to L.A. and he was eating salads, right?
You know what? I bet you if I were to go on his site, I bet you done posted something. He had there working out right. Bet you working out.
Okay, let's see. I like how you go, I don't know, but you know. I know you know.
He ain't posted nothing yet.
No.
Oh, it's not working out.
So, speaking of LeBron James, this is why, off Iggy's quote, that I keep trying to explain to you that the more valuable player right now, the nuclear weapon, the unstoppable weapon, is Kevin Durant. He's just he's a more valuable player now than LeBron James is at this stage in age.
Let me ask you a question, Skip Bayless. If you were to swap, let's say just for the sake of argument, just to appease me in this, if we were to swap Kevin Durant and LeBron James the last 2 years, are the outcomes any different?
I don't know. Been interesting.
Skip Bayless, are you going to sit right here and tell me right now, LeBron James, Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, and Draymond would lose to Kevin Durant-led Cavaliers? Is that what you're trying to tell me right now?
Could LeBron have blended into that?
Yes!
What goes on in Golden State? I don't know. LeBron's got a lot of diva in him. I just don't know. I don't know if the chemistry would have been the same. Kevin can do it so efficiently. That was Iggy's point. He does it on low shots. He's unselfish. I know LeBron can play unselfishly, but in the end, he needs the ball and he needs to score.
You don't need the ball. Oh, can you imagine what would happen if Steph and Klay had Bron running the point? 500 threes for Steph, 400 for Klay.
Yeah, and LeBron be saying, I got to get me some of that.
LeBron,
he's got to be the center of attention. And Kevin doesn't have to be. That's why he's underappreciated, because some nights this is like, you got a hot hand, you shoot it.
That's what LeBron gonna find, the hot hand.
No, he's not.
What the thing? Well, in Cleveland he couldn't, because ain't nobody had a hot hand. You remember? You watch Cleveland.
Who's going to be the greatest scorer in NBA history? Who's going to have the most points? LeBron James. Yeah. Because in the end, he's going to stuff that stat sheet.
Skip, he can't
Got to
help
have
it.
ball in
Skip,
hand.
he can't help it, Skip.
Yeah, okay.
A blue whale can't help that it's 40,000 pounds. He can't help it, Skip. That's just what happens.
So, just for the record, this past postseason, defensive win shares, individual. Kevin Durant was 7th in all the playoffs. That's pretty great.
Is that what cost the Cavaliers, LeBron?
Wait a second. And LeBron was 67th? 7th to 67th. So Kevin's bringing a big, glaring new element to Golden State. He rim protects. He was 7th in the league in blocks. And all the other guys are centers. They all play the 5.
And Kevin Durant is taller than all of them.
Well, he can play 5 when he feels like it, when he's needed.
If you don't mind me asking, Skip, like I said, I got 5 new followers. They want to know. They ask me to ask you.
You just got 5 new?
Yeah. They asked me to ask you who's number 1 in offensive efficiency.
I don't think they asked you.
They asked me. That's what they just asked me.
That came from Shannon.
No, there you go. I'm just asking. Okay, for me, can you? Who's number 1 in efficiency?
Because he needs the ball in his hand.
Who's number 1 in usage? Should the playoff.
Usage rate? Well, you're making my case now. It's LeBron.
Hold on.
Kevin doesn't need the ball. I just told you that.
Whoa. But you told
most talented scorer ever is Kevin Durant.
But when we're going against LeBron and Jordan, you said Jordan led the league in playoffs in usage like 8 times. Now you're using it as a check mark, a black mark against LeBron.
We're doing KD versus LeBron, not Michael versus LeBron.
There's no.
But Michael was the greatest scorer ever. I already said that.
There's no KD versus LeBron. That's not.
Well, I just made the case.
No, you didn't make no case.
Andre Iguodala just made the case.
I just want you to know, if you're a lawyer and you made that case, I already know I'm going to jail. Your client going to jail. So whoever you made
want
that case for, to go into jail.
We got to keep his 5 new followers happy.
No mercy.
The Cowboys have been criticized this offseason for not having a number 1 receiver, but they appear to be okay with it. A Cowboys exec said Tavon Austin has been the most surprising player in camp and that, quote, everybody fears him. And Dak Prescott was asked by NFL Network who his go-to receiver is, and he said it's Cole Beasley because he can stretch the defense. We are now joined once again by DeAngelo Hall. DeAngelo, I'm going to start with you here. Are you buying the hype? I'm going to remind you who you're sitting next to.
You know, I'm not buying the hype, but I could see where Dak's coming from, I guess. Cole Beasley is a capable receiver. You know, he's made a lot of plays, but, you know, Shannon, as you can attest to this, when you're in the slot, it's a little bit of a different world than going outside. When you're in the slot, you know, you got a little bit of room to wiggle a little bit. You can go either direction. A lot of times when you're on that edge, that DB is thinking, all right, I got my 12th defender being the side, you know, out of bounds. All I got to do is put him that way, you know. I can take this direction completely away from him. And so if Cole's going to go outside and try to be a number 1 receiver, it's going to be difficult for him. I'm sure he's working as hard as he can to be that great go-to guy. But, you know, I still see him being successful in the slot. I don't know if he's quite, you know, the guy who can move outside and make plays. And, you know, I think about Tavon Austin, who, I mean, speed in this league is crucial. If you have it, you can be pretty good and not even have much of a work ethic if you have that kind of speed that Tavon has. And, you know, I'm just a little confused because you have this great offensive mind in Sean McVay, and you have Tavon out there with the Rams, and it's like, you know, why wasn't he used to his ability? Because there's no doubt in my mind that he's an explosive player. I want to try to get him the ball. I want him to run routes. We never quite saw him run routes, kind of a la Percy Harvin. He was more of that gimmick guy. They threw little quick screens to. They threw reverses to, gadget guy. And so you bring in Brandon Cooks, who has shown in, you know, New Orleans that he can run every route and be successful, and they give this guy a monster contract. And the same body types, speed guys, little quick, shifty guys. And so, you know, for them to feel like they can use Brandon Cooks this way but could not use Tavon this way, and then to hear Dallas say, oh, man, he's amazing. You know, he's scaring guys. I'm sure he's scaring guys when he runs a fade route, you know, because that's just pure speed, and he has that. But when it comes to just really running routes and DBs sitting there covering them all game long, you know, I question just how good Tavon really is at running routes, because I've never seen him do it in his career anywhere.
Before you go, did you wind up on Cole Beasley at all, ever?
At some point I did, yes.
Yeah, and?
Yes, I went in the slot, picked him off.
You just...
Yeah, it was funny. Skandrick was telling me a story.
Well,
you know, he's in D.C.
Yeah.
I saw him at training camp the other day, and he's like...
He's a Redskin now.
Yeah, he's a Redskin now. So I'm sure you don't like him as much.
I don't.
But he was just saying, hey, D-Hall, man, you know, you still could have played. I'm like, man, you know, that time's come and gone. He was like, man, I remember that game where, you know, they put you at the slot, and you was chasing Cole Beasley around, and you caught a pick. And I'm like, yeah, that was the good old days. I don't quite move like that anymore. So...
Who was the quarterback? Tony Romo.
Yeah.
That's all you need to know is Tony Romo.
Don't do that.
He throws it to everybody.
First of all,
He throws presents to everybody.
Tony was a really good quarterback. He did not get
Every
the
once
credit
in a
he
while he
deserved,
was.
man. Tony was a good quarterback.
Okay, so what was the book on Cole Beasley?
Quick guy, shifty, good hands, but wasn't going to beat you downfield. It was at one point they didn't even run a route. If you really scouted him, he never caught a ball past, I think, 11 yards until last year. I think he caught a 40 or 38-yarder or something like that. And so for me, knowing he's not going deep, I'm just going to try to beat him up, knowing if I lose him, just slip right under him because I don't have that threat of a deep ball. But Dak says he's stretching the field now, so we'll see. We'll see.
What do I know?
He's trying to contain himself.
I don't know anything about football. I'm just telling you. First of all, really, when you play the slot, there's only really one deep route you can run at the seam.
Seam ball.
That's it.
Maybe an over route. But you got to have a little speed to get that over route.
Thank you. And then it depends on the team. You play in Seattle, they're going to rob you. You run the over route. That's what they got that lurk guy from to pick that over. So all I'm going to do is stay on the trail end. And then probably Earl Thomas or Cam going to knock you out. So I'm good with that. If you want to run across there, hey, I'm going to point you out. Let the safety know you coming.
You realize all those guys are gone.
Yeah,
right?
But I'm just saying.
Sure.
I'm just going to say with my safety,
Good.
if I'm the DB playing it, I'm just, like he said, go play it. he's going to stretch the field horizontally. That's what he is, Skip. And can he be a go-to guy? Sure, you could be the go-to guy with not having deep speed or not without running deep routes. That's what he is, Skip. Now all of a sudden we're supposed to think they're gonna line Cole Beasley up outside and he's gonna go beat people deep. That's not gonna happen. That's not what he is. That's not who he is. You play to your strengths. He's a guy that plays inside the numbers. That's where he's best at. The thing is about the slot, you know why it's easier to play the slot, but it's a lot more congested. I can use the umpire to rub you off. I can rub you off against your own man. I can get up on the shallow crosses. Plus, there's so many things. I can start in. I can option away from you. I can Zorro you where I go place up over the ball and take off again. There's so many things I can do. You can't be right on all of where outside, like D. Hall say, I jump inside. You ain't coming inside of me. So I'm sorry, Skip. Tavon Austin got great speed. It's hard for me to believe that all of a sudden now he's about to turn into Antonio Brown or Tyreek Hill. But I wish you well, Skip.
So I'm going to start with Tavon Austin. I loved him. You can look it up before that draft. I thought he was the steal of the draft with the 8th overall pick.
Really?
He ran 4.3 coming out of West Virginia, not Virginia Tech. And I thought he was misused and underutilized for 5 straight years with the Rams. And I ask you, Sean McVay, is he human? I know he's a fine young coach, great young offensive mind. Could he have made a mistake here?
No.
Yep.
No.
He could have made a big mistake here. Is he potentially going to be made to look foolish this year? Yep, he is. Because it looks like Dallas said, wait a second, why did you stick him at running back? Because they started right from the start. They said, you're more of a running back than a receiver. And he had almost as many runs as catches as a Ram over those 5 years. It's close. 184 rush to 194 catches.
Well, how you going to play him at running back when you got Zeke? You got to realize they didn't always have Todd Gurley.
Maybe you're making my case. I don't know. Because all of a sudden, I'm looking at this camp footage that I see, and he's lining up wide a lot because he ran 4.3, and he's got good hands. And when I would watch him at West Virginia, I know he's more run after catch than run by you.
Yes.
But he was sudden. He was electric. So maybe they swung and missed in St. Louis and Los Angeles with the Rams. Maybe this is a glaring need for them, and maybe they just said, let's make him a wideout.
Can I say something? Against those Cowboy DBs, I'll be spectacular right
really?
now at 50. You make it seem like they got Pat Peterson over there.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, Skip.
It's the scheme they got.
No. So what they need to
the scheme is the star.
No. You need some dogs out there on that back end.
They got some young talent.
But Skip, the days of playing that Tampa 2, the guys are too good. They run you up out of that. You can't play that coverage. Not the whole. The Tampa 2 worked really well when you got Warren Sapp, first ballot Hall of Famer. Derek Brooks, first ballot Hall of Famer. You got Simeon Rice, could easily be, he's over 100 sacks. You got John Lynch, that was in the finals list for the Hall of Fame. I'm
not saying it's that deep.
Rondé. So you got all those guys. So where are those guys with Dallas?
Remember, they got Chris Richard from Seattle to run the back end of the defense. So it may start looking more Legion of Boomy.
Well,
right?
You
better get you some.
You better get you a
boom guys.
So where Richard Sherman? Where you Richard Sherman in your prime? Where's Earl Thomas and Cam?
Byron Jones has moved back to corner, and he's a stud athlete.
He got beat up at corner. He got beat up at safety.
In the first place. Exactly. That's why he moved to safety.
He's more athletic. He got that 10-foot long jump.
He's a great athlete.
I mean, he's tremendous. He can run 4.3. He got 42, 43 inch vertical.
He won the combine.
Yeah. Oh, your Combine Olympics? Oh, he got a gold medal. He got a gold medal.
And didn't even run the 40, did he?
But here's the thing, though, Skip. They play in pads. They don't play in T-shirts.
Oh, okay. So now back to Cole Beasley. What you have to know and accept is that Dak Prescott loves Cole Beasley.
Yeah.
There is rapport. There is wavelength. That is his Dez Bryant. I know you can't even put Dez Bryant and Cole Beasley in the same sentence, but for whatever reason, there is connection between Dak and Cole. And maybe Dak is telling Scott Linehan, same old coordinator who's been there all along, maybe he's saying, we have underutilized or misused Cole Beasley. Cole ran 4.5 coming out of SMU. He can run a little bit straight up the field. Maybe they will split him out occasionally. Maybe, he said in this quote yesterday, Dak said, we're going to move him all over the formation. So maybe he's slot, and then maybe he splits out, maybe he goes in motion. There are a lot of ways to try to get him loose in the defense, and I do think he can run by people because I've seen him make a lot of big catches in this league under pressure in big games. So he's been there and done that.
But they're normally for like 6-7 yards. Okay. Because think about it. Of his 109 catches from Dak Prescott, only 7 has been for 20 or more yards.
All right, but that's...
So what's the averages?
Misused?
No,
maybe it's a new world?
Hold on. Scott Linehan was there. That's been his
I just said that, but maybe Dak went to him in the offseason and said, we screwed this up. But this guy can run by people.
But hold on. You talk about the Rams play calling and Sean McVay and Jeff Fisher. I forget who his offensive coordinator was before Sean McVay took over head coach. Dez said, what about that play calling at Dallas? Remember, Dez complained about the play caller. Said, y'all didn't move me around. Y'all didn't put me. I'm just telling you what Dez said.
So they threw him the most balls last year by far, but it was poor play calling.
But he said y'all threw me the same ball from the same location. Y'all didn't move me around.
So it was the play caller's fault that Dez led the league in drop passes last year?
I'm just telling you what Dez said.
Okay.
Y'all be coming at him with that bull jive and be blaming stuff on him. That's what he said.
All I know is that the Dez cloud got lifted off this team. So this year, it doesn't even matter who's playing receiver. The ball is going to get spread around. By the way, Deontay Thompson that they added, he ran 4.3 in college. You ran 4.3, right?
Yeah. He can't skip. What good is running 4.3? Look, nobody has ever scored a touchdown without the ball being in their hands. What good is you running 4.3 if you can't catch the ball?
All I know is Dak Prescott throws best when he throws blind because he throws it on time to spots. And if you get a collection of fast guys who are on the same wavelength with him as opposed to Dez Bryant, who was broken down shell of himself, who could not run past anybody last year, all of a sudden you got a varied offense that's going to be pretty hard to defend.
What he's trying to do, he's trying to take that New England approach. But he forget New England got number 12 up there. Yeah, that's a whole.
What do I tell you? Dak Prescott is Brady-esque. I'm not saying he's Tom Brady, but he operates
Bobby
the way.
Brady from the Brady Bunch. Yeah, that one. Not Tommy.
Yes, Tommy.
No, Brady. Not that. No, not that Tommy.
Yep.
Dak will win a lot of football games in this league if he sticks to the formula. And that's run the ball.
Thank you.
You got to throw it some.
You do.
Yeah.
You got to throw something.
Has to throw it some.
But that 2-1. He got to be the bell cow.
Special. I told you.
Absolutely has to be.
When this offense was at its absolute best, DeMarco Murray, 1848. Zeke Elliott, 1606. That's your formula. 16 to 18, 1,900 yards running the ball, and let's see what happens.
Okay.
And Tavon's not going to face a lot of too high safeties, even if he is outside, because I'm telling you, man, it's going to be 8 in the box to stop Zeke, without a doubt. And so that's going to work in his favor. It's going to work in his favor. I'm saying, Skip, it will work in his favor. Because it's like having Deshaun Jackson out there when we had him. When you can stretch the field, you got to pick one. You either got to help high or help low in the run game. You can't do both. And knowing how much this run game is going to be relied upon, they're going to be bringing that 8th defender into the box. Okay. And can Tavon exploit a matchup or two? I think he can. I'm just telling you, we have not seen it. And when you haven't seen something from a guy year after year after year after year, I'm starting to think it's really not the offensive coordinator's fault at this point. Maybe that's really not what you do very well, you know?
Little guys, what you do, get your hands on them. You can't just let them have space because that's the problem. Everybody's like, he got so much speed. But if you let a guy like with that kind of speed and you bail on him.
Do they get hands on Antonio Brown? What happens?
Antonio has shiftiness. He has Cole Beasley's shiftiness with Tavon's speed. He's not 4'3", but he has that sudden hit where he can turn it on. And he's one of those guys that won't clock a fast 40, but somehow on that field, you chasing him, he manages to be that just one step a little faster than you.
Have you covered him a lot?
I have. And he's a heck of a receiver, Skip. He's the reason I'm sitting over here.
Nice way to put it.
You see what he tried to do? He tried to put Tavon Austin with Antonio Brown. You saw what he tried to do, D. Hall?
He's got a little Tavon in him, huh? I mean, Antonio, Tavon's got some Antonio in it.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
It's AB special. Like I said, we don't normally see small guys like that.
Yeah.
To catch that many balls and be that durable. I mean, the dude catching 130, 125, 118.
The Tavon I saw at West Virginia was Antonio Brown in college.
Well, Skip, how many
I know it was college
guys
football.
have we seen in
it.
college
Yes!
who were amazing in college and they get to the next level and they just can't quite do it.
Because when you do that in college, Skip, when you show up at the training camp, we got to see.
Yeah.
I got to see why. I got to see why
name.
you got the first round. I got to see why you got that first round grade.
Yeah.
I got to see, Skip. We got to see what you
He
found.
was still of the draft at 8. I thought he went kind of high, personally. But
Misused running back. You can't make him a running back.
nah, I mean he's definitely not a running back.
I got a good feeling about these Cowboys.
I keep telling you.
Well, Skip,
What
I
do you
want some of that bet, man. What you like? Diet Mountain Dew?
Yeah.
You want in on
You want a
I
case?
definitely want some of that bet.
So
now.
he's bet.
Because my boys coming to town too.
Okay, what are
They
we
coming to
betting?
Dallas.
Well, they got to
Yeah.
see him twice,
Yeah.
and they're going to lose twice.
Nah, Skip, man, you crazy. Skip crazy, man. Nah, not at all. Not at all.
I got Cowboys just making the playoffs. That's all I got to do, and he loses again. That's all I got.
Well, what you want with me?
Do you want to say they missed the playoffs?
I absolutely. What else you want?
Okay, we got two cases.
This is
wanna say
getting
my team's
we
record
did a
will be
lot of
better than
Mountain Dew
yours?
today.
He said Washington going to be better. You reckon they're going to be
Who
better
is
than
your
yours?
team? I thought your team was Atlanta.
Oh man, come on, man.
I'm
I ain't
having
been
a
in
hard
Atlanta
time
in 10
keeping track
years.
of
Yeah,
all
come
of
on,
these
man.
bets.
Well, that's where
Come
you
on,
started.
man. Right, make sure
I've
we
got it.
document all this.
Okay.
Okay, we're documenting. We're good.
All day.
I'm real good.
Talked about Diet Mountain Dew and the 40 basically
Now
all
he
day.
got-
Okay.
Now he got Tavon and
Thank you
same
for
breath
being
as
here,
you doing it.
DeAngelo.
No mercy.
Baker Mayfield will make his NFL debut tonight in a preseason game against the Giants. The #1 overall pick will reportedly get extensive work, but Hugh Jackson has already said Baker is the backup and Tyrod Taylor is locked in as the starter. Baker said yesterday, quote, "However much I play, I've got to take advantage of the opportunity." Shannon, do you like the way the Browns have handled this situation?
I do. And as we currently sit here, Skip, Baker Mayfield is the backup. But there's still preseason games to be played, and that can change. It's evolving. I just think the thing is that all things being equal, Hugh Jackson would like to have Tyrod Taylor start the season. And things go well, and then if they don't somewhere down the middle of the season, towards the end, they're not going like he expected, they can put Baker Mayfield in. Skip, they don't want to start him. You can always go to the rookie if the veteran is not playing well. You can always do that. But it does something to a guy's confidence, especially as confident as Baker Mayfield is, Skip. And you know he has the ultimate confidence. But this game is very humbling. It has a way of making you realize, you know what? I'm not nearly as good as I thought I was. So this is what I think they're going to play it, Skip. I believe Tyrod would probably play a series. Baker's going to probably go the next series to the end of the game.
You think to the end of the game?
Not to
They
the end of the
said
game,
like
the end of the half.
End
of the half, excuse me, not the end of the game, end of the
Yeah.
half. He's going to get some reps because you don't want to put Baker Mayfield in there with the backup offensive line, so you got to have the starting offensive line in there, and you want to see what he can do with some of the starters. So I believe he'll get at least a series with the starting offensive line and Jarvis Landry and some of those starting receivers. And then gradually, I wouldn't be surprised that as we go along even more, you'll see more and more Baker Mayfield because you need to see what he can do, Skip, in the actual game, playing against actual guys that's going to be playing in the league.
Yep.
You start letting him play against 3rd and 4th guys and he lighting it up, those guys not being in the league, you get a false sense of how good or how good he is or how good he can be. I believe he'll get at least one series with the starters, and then he'll go from there. But I believe he plays until the first half. He at least plays the first half.
This is turning into the most intriguing battle this side of Belichick versus Brady. I can't wait to see how this plays out even tonight. I don't think they're handling this right, but I'm with you. I think Hugh Jackson badly wants to go forward with Tyrod Taylor. I think he likes Tyrod. I think he believes in him. I think he has great respect for him. And I think Hugh thinks that Tyrod has a better chance of winning a couple of 3 games than Baker would from the start.
Yes, yes.
Because Hugh is 1-31
Yes.
over the last 2 years,
Not
and
good.
he's on a little bit of a hot seat because the new GM did not hire Hugh Jackson.
That is correct.
That's never a great thing. So I'm not sure how the mix of starters and second and third teamers is going to work tonight, they said Tyrod might play 2 series, whatever it is, 1 or 2. And will Jarvis Landry really stay in the game? Really? In game number 1, will he stay? For how long?
Here's the thing, Skip. You want Tyrod to play 2 series, he might have to play 3. You go 3 and out, 3 and out.
Maybe. It just depends.
Yeah, exactly.
You have to feel of it.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to remind you, Josh Gordon is on some kind of leave.
Yeah.
We don't know what it is.
Yes.
They say he's going to be back sooner than later, but he's not there now.
Correct.
And Corey Coleman just got shipped out unceremoniously because he was dogging it in practice. I don't know what, that's how it came across in Hard Knocks.
Yes.
And all of a sudden, he's in Buffalo.
For a seventh rounder
in like...
In 2040.
2040. For a non-rounder. It's
a while.
Like, whatever. So a statement was sent there. And then after I made mention of Antonio Callaway on the show the other day because I knew Baker Mayfield was impressed with his speed because he can really run. And he had a big incident with the police, and it looks like big, bad trouble for Antonio Callaway. So I don't know if he's going to be available much longer, right?
Are we really? But are you surprised about Callaway?
Nope. He had issues.
He missed the entire season because of fraud.
Yeah.
He shows up at the combine with marijuana in his system, and then he gets issued a citation that he doesn't tell the Browns about, and he has a gun, bullets, parts, this.
Spare car part? I don't know what that's about.
Not smart.
Okay.
Dude.
Okay. So can you count on? No, you can't count on him. So all of a sudden, that new deep receiving core doesn't look very deep anymore. So I'm looking at these names: Rashard Higgins and Damian Ratley and C.J. Board. I don't know who they are.
Who they are?
Yeah. Okay. Well, I think Baker Mayfield's going to be throwing a lot to those 3 tonight because they're next down the depth chart. So to your point, Baker Mayfield. Look, I've said it from the start. He should start game 1. They're going to be better with Baker to me. And that's no disrespect to Tyrod because I do have great respect for him. And he did lead that team in Buffalo to the playoffs.
Right.
They got to Jacksonville, and they pretty much stunk it up in Jacksonville. But Jacksonville makes most offenses look pretty bad. So I'm just wondering, why are they delaying? Well, is it up to Hugh? Is it Hugh versus John Dorsey? And then I saw a little snippet of a little aside conversation that took place on Hard Knocks the other night. Could we show that? This is Hugh Jackson giving some advice to Baker Mayfield.
Yeah.
I guess that's what you said when you said it was different.
I tried to tell you. And what time do you normally get up in the mornings?
I was a little bit later this morning.
No, I know. But what time do you normally come over?
Depends on when we start.
Huh?
Try and get in about 2 hours before.
You ever come in with your boy 5?
He does his own little workouts in the mornings.
Where's your little workout in the morning?
Huh?
Where's your little workout in the morning? To start starting your career how you want to. You see what I'm saying? It's a competition in everything you do, baby. You know how to do it.
Hey, Hugh real, Skip. You know Hugh. I know Hugh. Baker. You see what he said? Oh, what time did you get up? Oh, I got up a little later.
I got up a little late, Coach.
Well, what time do you know? Well, it depends on when. No, you can't be great like that, Skip.
So Tyrod is known for 5:30 a.m. They showed him in Hard Knocks arriving in the dark, did they not? Mm-hmm. Because he is there every morning at 5:30, and he is one of the last, if not the last, to leave the building. Mm-hmm. That's what he's made of. That's how he made himself an NFL quarterback. So Hugh is trying to impart a little early wisdom. Do you see what the starter is doing? Mm-hmm. Maybe you should try a little bit more of that. You know and I know. Baker had some issues at University of Oklahoma. He had some off the field. He likes to party. He's got a little bit of Manziel, but he's not Johnny Manziel. Mm-hmm. So the one difference that I saw with Baker under Lincoln Riley, the head coach at OU, you know him well, I've been around him a lot, is that when Baker decides to study tape, he studies tape. He does have a higher football IQ than Johnny. Johnny didn't study tape at all. Johnny wanted to make it up on the fly and trust his innate instincts and his natural quickness and ability. Baker is a student of the game, but he wants to do it in the afternoon. Mm-hmm. You know, if he's going to get up a little later, if he's going to stay out a little later, no big deal. So Baker likes to be the life of the party, maybe the bar, maybe, you know. So these were the issues I had going in. So I'm going to lay them out on the table up front that I do have these issues. Is he going to learn how to navigate around and through those issues as a pro football player? Because what Nick Saban always says about the quarterback competition, one of them will win the team. Well, you have to win the team by showing the team that you are a professional, because the team is depending on you more than it's depending on anybody in the whole building to lead them to the top, right?
Yes.
So if they're on the verge, we saw Jarvis Landry just spit fire the other night at the other receivers about, we have to change the culture here. Well, it's not going to change if Baker Mayfield, who has Pied Piper in him, he's just a natural-born leader, if he's leading them astray, that won't work. So this is going to be very interesting, because I believe Baker Mayfield, and I don't love it that he might play with some backups as the game goes toward halftime. I still believe he's going to light it up. It's just what he does. He is a playmaker, and he rises to occasions. I may eat these words. I'm going to have to knock on wood here, but I thought Johnny would be okay was it Friday night? He was a disaster. I don't think that will happen to Baker Mayfield in his NFL debut. And I do think that he will outplay Tyrod in the preseason. I also think Hugh will battle John Dorsey, who loves Baker Mayfield. John Dorsey put his reputation on the line because all the other three quarterbacks were getting more acclaim, more praise, right?
Yep.
Mock drafts that nobody had Baker Mayfield going first, except for John Dorsey, who said, watch this.
Right.
You don't think his reputation's on the line right now? And when they signed on, and we saw him on Hard Knocks, boy, there were big hugs with John Dorsey and Baker Mayfield, because that's his guy. That's his meal ticket. That's his future in Cleveland, is Baker Mayfield.
Man, they just gave that man $33 million guaranteed. I'd have hugged him, kissed him.
Well,
bad.
Okay.
A lot of hugs.
Brought him. I'd have purchased him one of these right here. Skip, hey, you need to get you one of your special pens.
Where'd you get that? 7-Eleven?
It is nice, yeah. No, this one I think is.
Skip.
That one.
What is that? Did you buy that out on the street?
This old Mont Blanc.
Is that a real one?
Yeah. Real thing, heavy.
I saw them. They were selling them out on Pico.
What? You should have got you one.
I should have stopped and
You
bought
want
one.
to trade for now?
Yeah, you got that big. You got like 15 of those for like 33 cents.
I did.
Yeah, I know you did.
No mercy. One of our favorite debates around here, who's the best quarterback in the NFL, Aaron Rodgers or Tom Brady? Well, former tight end Martellus Bennett played with both guys, and he shed some light on the debate. Bennett told our colleague Doug Gottlieb, quote, "I think that no one has more arm talent than Aaron. Aaron can pretty much do anything with the ball. I feel like Tom Brady is precise, easier to play with. It was easier to play with Tom than anybody else. He makes the game easy, what he expects, where he wants you to be, where he's putting the ball. He does so many repetitions with you, mental reps, physical reps, walkthrough. He's always letting you know he communicates the best of what he expects. The communication between him and the receiver is on the highest level." Now, Shannon, what is your reaction to this take?
Skip, you remember the movie Primal Fear? Edward Norton and Richard Gere. Richard Gere's character's name, Marty.
Yeah.
And when he realized that Roy had
it was a shocker.
Yeah, when he realized he had been played, and Richard Gere turns around, he walks back in there, and Edward Norton is, "Oh, Marty, I've been trying to tell you, Aaron Rodgers is the most supremely gifted thrower of the football in the history of the game. I've just been telling you that for the longest. You don't want to listen to me.
Tell me when it's my turn.
It's not your turn.
Not yet.
Jenny just asked me, Skip, can I get like...
She always asks you first. I don't know why.
Are you keeping score over there? Oh, okay. Maybe next time.
Martellus didn't shed any new light for me. I'm glad he played with both guys. And when he first went to Green Bay after having won a Super Bowl with the Patriots, he thought Aaron Rodgers was a little better. I can see where Aaron would rub his receivers the wrong way, where it would be hard to play with them. Basically, I think Martellus is saying that. Aaron is not the best communicator. He doesn't always explain things in his simplest form. And I think Tom does a better job of communicating. I think Tom does a better job of, to make a long story short, Skip, I believe Tom Brady is a better teammate than Aaron Rodgers. And I think that's what Martellus is basically saying. He's a better teammate.
Did you just admit something there, Shannon?
Hey, Martellus is...
Okay.
Skip, you act like I've always known that. Aaron can be tough. It's tough playing with those guys. It's not easy. It's a lot easier playing with a guy if he communicates, he lets you know where he wants you to be, you understand him, he understands you. That's a lot easier. You can stomach a lot of things. He's never going to put you in harm's way, and he's never going to show you up. And in turn, you're going to make sure you're always on your best behavior, and you're never going to do anything to try and show him up.
So, Shannon.
Yes.
What have I been trying to tell you for years? This is it. I couldn't say it any better than Martellus just said.
Yes.
No one can compete with Aaron Rodgers when it comes to pure arm talent. Yeah, he can make all the throws. But what did you just tell me about 4.3 40 speed? Unless you know how to use it, it doesn't matter. Unless you can set the DB up to get behind him, it doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
If you just run straight ahead as fast as you can, it just doesn't matter. If you throw bullets over here, over there that aren't caught, it doesn't matter. So Martellus is saying that Tom Brady has much higher leadership intangibles because he's so much easier to play with and for. Because he humbles himself and he comes to each receiver, what do you like? I like this. Okay, I'll try to figure out. And then they go rep after rep. He says so many repetitions, so many mental reps, so many physical reps, so many walkthrough reps. He's always letting you know, you be here and I'll get you the ball right there. And after a while, it becomes second nature where you build a bond of trust. Each receiver trusts that the ball's going to be where the receiver likes it best. Tom Brady's going to trust you're going to be exactly where you're supposed to be, exactly when you're supposed to be there. Well, that's leadership intangibles. That contributes to winning championships. That contributes to throwing for 505 yards, the all-time playoff record in last year's Super Bowl.
That didn't contribute to that.
Yeah, it did.
No.
It did, because he's just doing it with a collection of Brandon Cooks got hurt in the game. He didn't even have Brandon Cooks out there.
But he still, for the first time in NFL history, they had 3 guys go over 100 yards in the play. And that in the Super Bowl, Skip.
And you know what? They're all just guys. That's
don't do that.
Proper
Don't do
term for
that.
it. Just guys.
Oh, Gronk is a guy.
Oh, except for Gronk. But Chris Hogan's a guy, and who was the other one? Who else?
Amendola.
Amendola. Okay, those are just guys to me.
Stop it.
Those are undrafted guys.
The thing
Two
is,
guys who were not drafted.
The thing is that I remember that when we played with John and we're the walkthrough and the understanding of, because a lot of times you're going to ask the quarterback to throw blind, Skip. You're going to ask him to throw the ball and trust you're going to be there. He can't wait until you get open. He's going to have to throw the ball into a window and know that you're going to come into that window, that you're going to be there. So he's going to have to put trust in you. You're going to have to trust him that he's not going to give you that kill shot. Now, he has to know that they're going to be tired. Oh, Shannon got to sit. Shannon's going to sit this one down. He's not going to lead me into a headache. By the same token, I'm not going to okey-doke him and he throw it and get a pick. So you have to have the ultimate trust. You have to communicate. Okay, John, I know they say they want this route at 12 to 14. I'm thinking, what do you think? He said, I'll tell you what, we're going to start at practice, go 12 to 14. But come game time, I know you'll speed it up. You'll be at 8 to 10. So just at practice. So you know that you're constantly talking, constantly going through it. Skip, it's not easy playing with those guys. And Aaron is one of the few guys, he knows he's good, but he doesn't have a problem letting you know
that is correct.
That he's good.
Yep. So he occasionally burns his mental bridge with the receiver because Aaron thinks he is the bridge. There's no two-way bridge. It's one way, my way, or you're on the highway. And I've seen, even with Greg Jennings, who we've had on the show here many, many times, there were times when he thought Aaron wouldn't accept any blame. He's talked about it.
Yes.
And he deflects blame.
You got to be. If you're going to be that quarterback, Skip, you got to, even if it's not your fault. Sometimes, Skip, guys would run the wrong route. Or drop a pass, and John would say, my bad. Knowing that it's not his fault, but just letting them know, don't beat yourself up. I'm going to come back to you again. I'm going to need you. Sometimes you have to accept responsibility even when it's not your fault for the betterment of the team.
So I think you just agreed that Tom Brady is clearly the better quarterback.
No.
Because one's a winner and one's a non-winner.
Whoa. So Aaron Rodgers doesn't win?
He's a non-winner.
Hold on. Aaron Rodgers doesn't have a Super Bowl?
He's got one.
Okay, so
8 years ago, he got one Super Bowl.
So now, like Jenny said,
right place, right
time.
We
keep a score?
Anybody can win one Super Bowl, right?
Oh, anybody can win one. There've been a lot of anybody's that haven't won one.
Well, there've been a lot of who have.
But all I'm saying is that Martellus confirmed what I knew to be true all along. Nobody's more gifted at throwing the football than Aaron Rodgers. Tom Brady is more accomplished.
Usually I would say, given this, that if you could pour Aaron Rodgers into Tom Brady, you'd have the all-time greatest, but you don't need to pour Aaron Rodgers. Like, Tom Brady has supreme arm talent also. I will give you, it's not quite Aaron Rodgers, but I can also make the case that Tom throws a more catchable ball. He doesn't have quite the
zip,
the miles per hour. If we want to just do pure velocity, it's not quite. He might not have quite the lightning release that Aaron does, but it's pretty close.
Yeah.
And the ball gets there plenty of time,
Yeah.
and it gets there sweet. It gets there catchably sweet, right?
Yeah.
I think you would enjoy catching the ball from Tom Brady more than from Aaron.
No.
Yeah, you would.
No,
yeah, you would.
No, give me A-Rod. I mean, well, we'd have to have a discussion about how he's going to talk to me, and if something happens on the field that we're not on the same page.
You guys would last about 2 games.
we're going to have a discussion behind closed doors of what he expects, what I expect. We're going to be great.
But then yesterday he made some comments about his teammates, throwing a few people under the bus too. So
He did.
He's
He's right off to the races.
He's
Vintage A-Rod.
He's never going to throw Shannon up under the bus.
Okay.
That would have never, ever happened.
Okay, Shannon wouldn't have lasted with him. Jordy lasted with him because they became bros. You know, they became best buddies, right?
Skip, it's the work behind the scenes. See, if you establish what you expect and how you expect to be treated and talked to, that's the way you're going to be treated and talked to. If you let this happen, go unchecked, unfettered, what are you going to do? He feel he can talk to you any kind of way and say anything in the public. You're not going to do that.
So what did I read the other day after practice? Tom Brady had Philip Dorsett off to the side, bust in Indy. Didn't do much last year when New England acquired him. And he had him working on routes, throwing it to him, just him, by himself. Routes.
Now, you talk about can fly.
Well,
he can fly.
Okay.
He ran 4.27, 4.28 coming out of college.
Which is why he was a late first-round
Yeah.
pick who never could get behind anybody in Indianapolis, because I don't know if he knows how to run the routes. But Tom Brady says, I'm going to make a player out of him. So after practice, he's working with Philip Dorsett. Watch him catch a bunch of big passes.
You know why it's so hard for guys, Skip, to that can run really fast to get behind guys? Because they don't run anything up underneath, and they have tails. When you run that fast, Skip, it's so hard for you to come out of those breaks because you got to It's harder for you to stop going 60 miles an hour than it is going 20 or 30. So that guy's building up so much speed, so it's going to take him longer and longer to get up out of there. So once he starts building up that speed, DBs know, he ain't finna come up out. Ain't no way he going to stop out of that. So, look, 2 great guys. One guy, okay, Skip, one guy might be a better teammate. He communicates better. But still give me, like I said, I'm going to talk to him, put my arm around him and say, hey, Rod, look here, bro. I know there'll be some time. I mean, it's a game, it's emotional. But let's just, if I run the wrong route, if something goes wrong, hey, pull me to the side and say, hey, Shay, I need you to do this a little quicker. We going to handle it like that, bro.
Jenny, did you hear what just happened?
Yeah.
Shannon Sharp just admitted that Tom Brady is clearly the better all-around, all-time quarterback. Yes, you did. You did. You did. You know you did. You did it sheepishly, but you said, you got me.
Why you do this, Skip?
Because Martellus closed the case.
I think we need to get Martellus here. Maybe talk a little bit more. Keep
had
this
his brother
discussion
here.
going.
Yeah, we're going to get old Marty to come on.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
That was fun.
Well, he can talk.
Yeah.
No mercy.
Alvin Kamara had a huge rookie season with over 1,500 total yards and 14 touchdowns, but he was just a third-round draft pick, and he told Bleacher Report his appearance may have been the reason why. Kamara said he was told by scouts and team execs that he should cut his hair, take out his nose ring, but he said, quote, if I wasn't myself, I wouldn't have been as successful. We're now joined by former Pro Bowler DeAngelo Hall, but I'm going to start here with Shannon. Is there any truth to what he's saying?
There might be some truth to it. I'm sure there are some teams that appearance means more to them than others. You remember the famous Mr. Richardson, the famous owner of the Carolina Panthers.
Infamous.
Infamous. He asked Cam, do you have any tattoos? Nope. You have any piercings? Nope. Good. Keep it that way. So clearly, appearance meant something to him. I think it means more to the quarterback because the quarterback is normally the face of the franchise. That's the guy that's probably going to be going to more of the sponsor things of that nature. So you want to put on the appearance. I think the thing is with Alvin is that they didn't really know anything, Skip. He only had 210 college carries. So, and they didn't envision this. I mean, it took a mind like Sean Payton to use him because, remember, they had signed Adrian Peterson in the offseason, and they already had Mark Ingram.
They did.
So they didn't really know what they had or how good he can be. I don't think anybody thought that he could be this. Yeah. Because remember, Skip, he was in that class with Derrick Henry and Kenyon Drake. All those guys came in together. He ended up transferring from Alabama, going to Tennessee, splitting carries. So it might have had something to do with it because remember, Joe Mixon, what he had on his resume, winning the second round, he had no blemishes, not that we know of, on his. He went in the third round. So appearance might have had something to do with it. But this is what we know about the NFL, Skip. If you can play, you can be a Kyopo. Those are the people that have that lip ring, that big old one. And the bigger you get it, the more, you the big guy. So if you can play, that's why he's in the NFL. I mean, he ain't working on Wall Street. There are a lot of guys that got dreads in the NFL. Hell, half the black guys got dreads in the NFL. That seems to be the thing. That's more common than my haircut.
I don't know.
And your haircut.
How many nose rings are there? I don't know.
I don't think
Not a lot.
Not a lot of nose rings.
Right.
Well, put it like not in the middle. Maybe on the edge. Yeah. They got them in this part, but we haven't seen anybody with the center.
Yeah. I mean, I've met Kamara, and I didn't think he was going to be that kind of player.
No.
Like you said, with him splitting time and kind of bouncing around in college, I knew he was going to be electric, but I didn't know he was going to be quite that electric.
Right.
And I don't think anybody, to your point, anybody could have saw that coming. And so, do I think he might have fell a couple spots? Maybe, maybe it's a team's preference, but to think he fell from the first round to the third round. He probably was never a first round talent in their eyes. But every time, if you can redraft after a season or two, everybody would do things a little bit different.
Correct.
But yeah, Sean Payton using him the way he did, I mean, you kind of saw those remnants of Reggie Bush being used out of the backfield. And I mean, he's special, but I don't think it had anything to do with that. Like Shannon said, it's so many guys in the National Football League that wear dreads nowadays that it's not that anomaly that you're looking like, oh man, this guy's weird. He has dreads. It's so many. It's quarterbacks that wear dreads. And so, I don't think that really had anything to do with it. The nose ring, maybe, but it's so subtle. You rarely even notice it when you meet the guy. So I kind of disagree with him.
So I came up in this business knowing a whole lot of old school coaches and GMs, and I'm talking about white and black. I'm talking about our friend John Wooten that you know, who was the personnel director of the Cowboys for many years. John would have looked sideways at that.
Yeah.
He would have been like, I don't know, I'm not sure about this one. But if you sit with this kid for 10 minutes, the way we have sit right here, you'll look right in his eyes and you'll say,
He
got
okay.
it. He's good.
Yeah.
You can just see it, feel it. He radiates. He's got big spirit. He's got big heart to him. So that's all it would take for me. Can't judge book by cover. You just have to look inside the book, and you'd say, that book can read, man.
Right.
That'll work.
Yep.
So I will say this. He did sign, as you said, with Alabama, and he gets stuck on that depth chart. They got Derrick Henry and T.J. Yeldon and Kenyon Drake, and it's just too much. And he goes a little sideways because he did get suspended for their bowl game because of what they announced was behavioral issues. So I don't know what that was about, but something went south there with Coach Saban. So he transfers and spends a year at Hutchinson Community College, Kansas. And then he goes to Tennessee, and he starts only 8 of 24 games. And Jalen Hurd has more than twice as many carries in the 2 years he was there. Each of those 2 years, Jalen Hurd had more than twice as many carries as Kamara did. Okay, what would that tell an NFL player, a personnel director? You'd be saying, what happened there? What's that about? Well, if you do look at the measurables, the 40 or the size, the speed, it's all great. But Jalen Hurd wound up, he's now at Baylor trying to be a wide receiver, but he beat him out most of the time at Tennessee.
Right.
So all that would factor into third round, right?
Correct.
Okay, because it would just make you a little leery of.
Right.
So I don't, did it play, I'm with you guys, did it play a little bit of a part?
A couple of spots.
Maybe here and there. Yeah, maybe at the top of the third round, there are a couple of teams that said,
right.
No.
So and that's the thing though, Skip, is that you don't know what he's going to be, and you don't hold him transferring from Alabama because you look at the guys in front of him and what they're doing. Derrick Henry won the Heisman Trophy.
Did.
He led the team to the national championship game.
Yep.
And he was the most outstanding player, offensive player in the championship game. So you can understand, man, I need touches, I need carries.
T.J. Yeldon.
And Drake, those guys.
Yeah.
Another guy was a 5-star recruit was Tenpenny, who ended up transferring. He ended up dying in a car accident.
Yep.
But he goes to Tennessee, and it's like, okay, bro, why only 200 carries, and what's going on with this? Why you can't? So I don't see him dropping out of the first round because of that. Maybe somebody came up, one of these old school guys, Skip, and it's like, nah, we good. But this is why I keep no facial hair. That's the way my grandfather raised us. He said, appearance, bro, they judge you. So I've had this haircut since 72, part and everything. So
any tats?
None. No facial hair, no earrings, low haircut, same haircut since 72.
Shouldn't have to defend himself, though, for his individuality. And that's the part that's shocking when we have so many other issues that we should be talking about. And he's saying, I think because of the way I look, I'm being judged differently. Like, I feel like we should be past
But it
that.
matters to some GM, Skip. You know this. I mean, it matters a lot to some of them, yeah.
Matter, though.
But it just depends. That's why the interview process to me is even more important than the workout, the pro day.
Right.
I want to see in your soul. I want to look in your eyes down into your soul and see what you're about. And you could see with this kid, you'd dismiss it in 10 minutes. You'd say, it's no big deal.
Yeah, it don't bother me. Hey, can you catch? And that's what they're looking at now. Can you catch? Can you throw? Can you tackle? Can you get the guy on the ground?
If you can play ball, you'll have a job in the national football.
Okay, but did I see? I saw bits and pieces of Kamara at Tennessee, and he never really caught my eye.
No, me either.
Did I see this?
Fair enough.
No.
I mean, Skip, you know what? I watched him at last game against Alabama, and he did flash. I mean, he had like a rushing touchdown, receiving. He would flash here and there, but you didn't see that.
Not that.
I mean that's
special.
And
man.
even if he did that in college, that's one thing. Bringing that to the NFL. That's something entirely different. I mean, I'm like, huh? Nah.
Yeah.
Because I remember he went to Norcross High School, which is about 20-minute drive from where I live in Atlanta. And you heard about him, and he was, guys, a lot of guys are special in high school. You know that, D-Hall. But to do what he did.
Remember, in the playoff game at Minnesota, they put in a little play for him where he ran it out the slot. He ran a route. So he's playing the receiver, man. Yeah. And just burned him.
He made Adrian Peterson expendable.
He did. Right away.
Right away. Hard to do. Yeah, they knew right away in camp that this kid was something special.
And that's what it required. A lot of times you don't know until they walk on your field with your guys.
You got to put them in your equipment,
your scheme
and put them in your equipment and put them in there, and let's see.
And how many times did both of you see a rookie walk onto the field, and after the first practice you were like, I don't know, man.
Yeah. Oh, a lot.
I think they swung and missed.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
A lot of times.
Because you would know right away.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Absolutely. I don't care if it's a first rounder. And I've seen some guys that were undrafted and were later round draft picks. I said, that guy can play. That guy gonna make the team.
He's gonna be all right. Yeah.
Let's just hope he tops it, because then he can be doing whatever he wants, wearing whatever he wants.
Shannon Sharp ran a 4.840 for the
Dallas
Dallas
Cowboys. Stop telling people that.
And he's a seventh rounder, but he walked on that practice field in Denver.
And somehow.
And Wade Phillips said, that guy, we can't cover that guy.
Yep.
I did not run a 4.8 for the people at home.
He did.
At the combine, I ran 4.66 and 4.68.
Cowboys said 4.8.
See,
4.8.
They're like, see, that's why.
It's hard to believe
they should
the
be
way
happy.
he
They
was
got
running on that field. That was a 4.8. But some guys got field speed. Track speed is different than field speed.
Field speed.
How fast you running? Faster than that dude that's trying to catch me.
I keep telling you, Skip.
Especially when a DB takes the wrong route.
He ran where he thought I was going to be. But because I was so fast, I was already done gone.
Yeah.
I was there earlier.
You went to the referee the play before, and he's starting to look sideways.
I tell you something in confidentiality.
You said it on the air.
But they done forgot.
How are you trusting him? You can't trust anything.
I'm learning. I'm learning.
How long was it? 90?
It's the longest scrimmage touchdown in NFL history.
In the NFL history? Playoff history? Yeah, playoff history. Well, how many yards is it?
96.
No mercy. Thanks as always for listening to the Undisputed podcast. I'm Jenny Taft. Join us again at the same time tomorrow morning, 9:30 Eastern. We'll see you then.
Fox Sports 1 of 1.